to reflect on their faith, their relationship with family and the community, and also their commitment to those who are in need. I hope that most of us could make the most out of this month as much as possible, as we have pretty much nearing towards half of the holy month remaining. So ladies and gentlemen, please make the most out of what is left of this glorious Ramadan. To continue on with tonight's program, I would like to introduce Dr. Professor Peter Coldrick, the Vice Chancellor, to give a few words of wisdom. Professor Coldrick.
Thanks very much, everyone. I also acknowledge the traditional owners. And on behalf of QUT, I would like to welcome you all here to this very special event where you are breaking your fast as you do each evening after sunset during this holy month of Ramadan. This is obviously a very important event for all of you. It's also an event we understand the powerful significance and traditions attached to Ramadan. We also acknowledge the importance of that, and that's reflected in the attendance at this evening's event of a good number of QUT's most senior staff. Some of whom have been mentioned already: Ken Bowman, the Senior Deputy Vice Chancellor, Scott Shepherd, the Deputy Vice Chancellor International, Carol Dickinson, the Registrar, and a host of other colleagues from the senior executive team, as well as, of course, a good number of Muslim staff, including Akram who's here, and a variety of others. So we do welcome you, and we reflect for you, I hope, our respect for your traditions, which you are, of course, celebrating. The program says that I'm going to speak for 15 minutes. I've got really good news for you. I've nearly finished already. And I also note the unusual way in which this venue was organised. I'm speaking to the food, and you're out there and out there. So perhaps the event hasn't really been organised for the speeches, and somehow I understand that. The other thing I'd just like to say is that the chair has just mentioned the importance of family and community. And QUT is a large family, a large community, and there's a very powerful sense of community and spirit of community at QUT. We hope that you'll very much feel part of that sense of community here, and that you're really enjoying your time at this institution, whether you be a staff member or a student member. And I do congratulate those of you in the Muslim Students Association, staff members and others who have been responsible for doing so much work in putting this together, but particularly, of course, and in addition, I recognise Graham Bagley and his team in doing a lot of hard work in bringing things together. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Professor Peter Coldrick. To continue on the program, I would like to introduce a very special person. He is a member of the Council of Imams in Queensland, and I'm sure many of you will know him from his weekly Friday sermons around Brisbane and elsewhere in Australia. Professor Sheikh Aslam Hussain has been involved in the Muslim community in his religious and social work for over 20 years. He is a founding member of the Australian Muslim Youth Network and also one of the board of directors of Hikmah Way Institute, a tertiary-level Islamic education institute. Without further ado, I would like to introduce you. I would like to present you Mr. Sheikh Aslam Hussain. A huge round.
السلام عليكم ورحمة الله الحمد لله والصلاة والسلام على رسول المصطفى. To the Vice Chancellor, to the distinguished guests of the staff of QUT, and to all the brothers and sisters gathered together here. Truly, as the Vice Chancellor just mentioned, we are very fortunate in this special gathering here at QUT, but we may not realize how fortunate we are until we look at another gathering, and that is the World Cup, the Soccer World Cup that just finished in South Africa. We all know, we all acknowledge how sports, it brings people together. It brings people together regardless of their race, nationality, or their religion. Yes, sports, it does do that, but there's something that brings people together in even a more noble fashion, and that is what QUT is about. That is the pursuit of knowledge. The pursuit of knowledge. Pursuit of knowledge is a universal pursuit. It is something that has brought all of us here together, regardless of the nationalities. I can see here Muslim students from Asia, from the Americas, from Europe, from Africa, from all across the world, coming to Australia, specifically to the Queensland University of Technology. What's brought everybody here together is a timeless pursuit for knowledge. And this is a heritage which, as we all know, if we go back to the Middle Ages, we see the history where people from all around the world used to travel to the Muslim countries in order to acquire this knowledge. We've all heard of the great scientists like Averroes, known in Arabic as Ibn Rushd. We've heard of Avicenna, known in Arabic as Ibn Sina, in Arabic as Ibn Sina. We've heard of Ibn al-Nafis. He was one of the earliest scientists to actually describe the human blood circulation in the body, in the human body. So this was the tradition of the pursuit of knowledge amongst the Muslims at the time of the medieval era. Now, before people from all around the world would go there, and would you believe that the book of Ibn Rushd, his encyclopedia on medicine, was translated centuries ago into Hebrew, into Latin, and into many other languages of the world. It shows to us that back then, science was in Arabic, in Latin, in Hebrew. Even today, science is still there in the modern version of Latin and English, in Hebrew, in Arabic, and in all the languages as well. Why? Because this is a universal pursuit of knowledge. The Prophet Muhammad ﷺ, he highlights the importance of the knowledge by mentioning, it's interesting, this saying of the Prophet, he says, when the son of Adam, or when the daughter of Adam dies, all their good actions come to an end except from three. And one of the three that the Prophet Muhammad mentions, he says charity that people continue to benefit from. Charity, you might wonder, what is the relationship between QUT and charity? QUT stands for the pursuit of knowledge, for imparting the excellence in all fields of knowledge. And this is a means to an end, and the end is charitable actions. And Ramadan, what is the relation of Ramadan to these charitable actions? As we see in the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala mentions that the purpose of fasting in Ramadan is to develop that special ability, and that is called taqwa. That taqwa, it is that ability in a human being to prefer the pleasure of God even above their own pleasure, such that they think twice before transgressing the rights of anybody. They strive to please God as they please themselves and the rest of the humanity as well. As Allah says in the Quran, the purpose of fasting, Allah says, Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, O you who believe, kutiba alaykum as-siyam, fasting has been prescribed upon you, kama kutiba ala alladhina min qablikum, as it was prescribed to those before you. Why was fasting prescribed to you? لَعَلَّكُمْ تَتَّقُونَ, so that you may learn taqwa, that magic quality that brings the whole humanity together. That is the quality of piety. Fasting helps us to refrain from the strongest desire from dawn until dusk, for the sake of God, because God is watching us. As we are able to develop this self-control, consequently, naturally, we will have that ability to have self-control even from the desire or temptations, maybe to sin against the Creator or to break a right against a fellow human being. So the fasting develops the characteristic of taqwa in us. And here at QUT, as well as other universities around the world, we come here in pursuit of knowledge. Knowledge is a means. Fasting and taqwa and piety give us the skill to a noble end, to an end that helps us to be those charitable human beings. Knowledge and piety together make the world so much a better place. I'll finish off by giving us some example, which I hope will be a source of inspiration to all of my brothers and sisters who have come here from so many nations around the world. If you look, I mentioned before one of the great Muslim scientists. His name was Averroes. He was born in 1026 AD. He was born in 1026 AD in Spain, in what is today Spain. Back then, it was a Muslim country. He died in the year 1096. Averroes was one of the greatest mathematicians, physicians, and a doctor as well. His book, known in Arabic as Al-Kulliyat fi Tibb, it's known and translated into Latin and Hebrew, as I mentioned before, as an encyclopedia of medicine. Averroes was a model of pursuit of knowledge. But what's interesting about Averroes that many amongst us may not know, but is truly inspiring for every one of us, is Averroes was also a model of piety. He was one of the greatest Islamic scholars of Islamic jurisprudence. He was one of the greatest scholars of Islam in Quran, its explanation, etc. So on one hand, he had one of the greatest encyclopedia in medicine, and on the other hand, he had one of the greatest books of Islamic jurisprudence known as Bidayat al-Mujtahid. Averroes was a model in pursuit of knowledge and in pursuit of piety and spiritual excellence. So as I finish off, I would like to encourage my brothers and my sisters that like Averroes before us, like Avicenna before us, like Ibn Nafis before us, let's follow in their footsteps, combine between the pursuit of this knowledge based on piety, which is what we are here to develop in the month of Ramadan. And I'd like to finish off with an example of someone who is very close to my heart, someone I know who comes from a country where I was born in India. This person, a Muslim person, who right now, he would be fasting. Sure, he's not at QUT learning, because when we were kids, he already acquired his degree, he already got his degree in medicine. Now, as a qualified doctor, him and his wife, in one of the villages in India, they have a medical practice. This medical practice has now been functioning for as long as I have been alive in this world. In that medical practice, in their village, people obviously cannot afford medical treatment paying the full price. They have their practice doors open all the time, during the day and during the night, for any of the poor people from the street to walk in for just a small little price. And even the medicine given to them at just a small little price. They've been serving these people for about 40 years now as they come to their retirement. I hope we can appreciate these are our role models. The ones who attain this knowledge, they excelled in the pursuit of knowledge of medicine and science, and at the same time, they did not forget their spiritual excellence, fasted one Ramadan after another Ramadan. They combined between the best of the both worlds. And when you all go back to your countries, whether it is Indonesia, or Malaysia, or Saudi Arabia, or the Gulf states, or to Africa, whenever you go back, firstly, do not forget this great hospitality from QUT and the staff here. And secondly, do not forget the great heritage of pursuit of knowledge and charity that is the heritage of Islam and of Ramadan. I praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala for this great guidance, and I pray to Allah that He makes us worthy of being called true Muslims. Once again, my true gratitude to the Vice Chancellor and everybody else for coming and sharing the iftar with us, and also to everybody else who helped to make this a success. Thank you.
you very much for that. That was a very inspirational speech now, wasn't that? I can see from the majority of the faces in this room that all of you are feasting on the food right now. So before we proceed in unleashing the lions themselves, I would like to invite our special guests, the VIPs, to have first pickings of food. If you may.
Hello. Hi. I'll get a meal. You can help the female. What do you need to do? What? Graham?
Ladies and gentlemen, as you are queuing up to feast on the lovely looking food, my goodness, I'm getting hungry standing here. I would like to make a quick announcement in regards to the celebration of the Eid in Calvin Grove. The residents of Calvin Grove would like to invite you on Saturday, the 11th of September 2010, which we hope that would be the first day of Eid. They would like to invite us all to celebrate with them in Pulpin Park. That's spelled K-U-L-G-U-S, Pulpin Park in Calvin Grove, from 9 in the morning till 1 in the afternoon. So, if you've got no plans, or if you feel like doing something very different, please feel free to come visit us at Pulpin Park in Calvin Grove. There'll be plenty of things to do, there'll be plenty of food. There'll be children's activities, more than just running around. And there'll also be